Hello, my friend, and welcome to Wisdom Trek. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, your guide to wisdom and creating a living legacy. Thank you for joining us for our 5-day-per-week wisdom and legacy building podcast. This is day 688 of our trek, and it is time for our Philosophy Friday series. Each Friday, we will ponder some of the basic truths and mysteries of life and how they can impact us in creating our living legacy. We are focusing on how to live with less fear. We are exploring the trails on our trek of life that will help us to be fearless. Now, this does not imply that we'll ever reach a point where we're completely without fear, for that is not only impossible, but also not wise. There is a time and a place for an appropriate level of fear, but for most of the fears that we experience on a daily basis, they have no grounding and can be eliminated as we grow in wisdom, insight, and understanding. So our objective for the next several Fridays is to experience a FearLess Friday on our trek of life. Today on our trek, we will explore how fear traps us like a cage. We are broadcasting from our studios at the Big House in Marietta, Ohio. We have been experiencing fall-like temperatures this week, which causes us to realize that within a matter of a few weeks, we will begin our leaf harvest once again. With many mature oak, maple, and walnut trees on our property, the volume of leaves that we collect is overwhelming at times. As we explore the topic of fear on our trek for today, if we are not careful, fear can overwhelm us because fear is like a cage. Fear entraps us in the same manner as a physical cage or a jail cell would entrap us, forcing us to become fearful as we lose the freedom to make rational choices. It closes in on us and keeps us from living in freedom. Some people become so overwhelmed with fears that they cannot even leave their house. In today's Western culture, it seems that phobias of all type have become almost fashionable. We label our fears and hug them as tight to us as if they were things that we need to keep. In our confused mental state, we coddle fears and keep them happy so that they don't destroy us. The last thing that we want to do is to provoke or stir up those fears. That powerlessness keeps us from accomplishing great things in our lives, either personally or to advance God's kingdom. Over the next several Fearless Friday treks, we will explore ways to increase our faith and walk in obedience, which are the keys that will set us free from the imprisonment of fears. As a foundation to these treks, we must believe that God, through faith in Jesus Christ, will help us to overcome. Too often we have faith in our mind, but not in our actions. We are like the father in Mark chapter 9, verses 22 through 24, who had a son with an evil spirit and was in dialogue with Jesus. And this man said, "The spirit often throws him into the fire or into water, trying to kill him. Have mercy on us and help us if you can." "What do you mean, if I can?" Jesus asked. "Anything is possible if a person believes." The father instantly cried out, "I do believe, but help me overcome my unbelief." If he can. Our faith tends to stop there because we have lost the ability to trust. Either in our minds or verbally, we cry out in our fears, "If he can, if he will, if he cares enough to even think about helping me." Jesus' answer was, "Anything is possible if a person believes." So the question becomes, do we believe? And if we believe, how do we act upon that belief? Each believer develops his own personal faith in God through Jesus Christ. They develop their own relationship with Him. He is not a friend of a friend, nor your father's friend, nor your mother's friend. He is your friend. In fact, God has made us heirs. In Romans chapter 8, verse 17, describes this. And since we are His children, we are His heirs. In fact, together with Christ, we are heirs of God's glory. But if we are to share in His glory, we must also share in His suffering. What we really need is faith that overcomes fears. We must learn to trust Jesus in the midst of all of life's circumstances, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Faith overcomes three main causes of fear. We fear because we don't like it when things are out of our control. We feel afraid when we feel alone. And when we face our trials, we fear because we feel helpless to change our circumstances. As we explored last month about fear, even Jesus' closest friends and disciples who saw all the wondrous signs and miracles still feared. Even when they were in the presence of Jesus, they thought that they would die, as is told in Mark chapter 4, verses 35 through 41. As evening came, Jesus said to His disciples, "Let us cross to the other side of the lake." So they took Jesus into the boat and started out, leaving the crowds behind, although other boats did follow. But soon a fierce storm came up. High waves were breaking into the boat, and it began to fill with water. Jesus was sleeping in the back of the boat with his head on a cushion. The disciples woke him up, shouting, "Teacher, don't you care that we're going to drown?" When Jesus woke up, he rebuked the wind and said to the waves, "Silence, be still." Suddenly the wind stopped, and there was a great calm. Then he asked them, "Why are you afraid? Do you still have no faith?" The disciples were absolutely terrified. "Who is this man?" they asked each other. "Even the winds and the waves obey him." Next Fearless Friday, we will begin our treks to explore the three main causes of fear. The first being the fear of being out of control. I know that you'll find these insights interesting and profitable in living your rich and satisfying life. Our next trek will be Mindshift Monday, where we will help you to live differently by thinking differently. So encourage your friends and family to join us and to come along with us on Monday for another day of Wisdom Trek, Creating a Legacy. If you'd like to listen to any of the past daily treks or read their associated journals, they are all available at wisdom-trek.com. You can also subscribe at iTunes or Google Play so that each day's trek will be downloaded to you automatically. And thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, but most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal. And as we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and then leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and then create a great day every day. See you on Monday.